This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Our goal with our videos is to empower you to be able to do the repairs on your own and save a whole lot of money and also get that great feeling of having fixed it by yourself. Today we have an LSE 1000 Maytag laundry center, and during spin the basket is wobbling around way too much. So we're going to be putting in new felt dampers and also putting a little lubrication on there too. To do this, we have it unplugged. We're going to be taking out these two screws on the bottom of the front panel, and then we'll hinge out the front panel about 45 degrees. It'll release. We can take it off, and I'm just going to show you guys. I plugged it back in, set it for spin, and it picks up spin pretty good, but the customer complained that it was wobbling around quite a bit. It seems pretty good. A little bit of wobble, but it's an older one, and the dampers kind of wear out over time, and they don't glide as well, and that creates a situation where it rocks around too much during spin, makes a lot of noise. So to fix it, we got to unplug it again. We're going to take out these two screws here that are holding on the top of the front panel. I'm going to take out a little 1/4-inch screw there, move these little catches back, and I'm going to grab the whole washer independent of the upper dryer assembly. I'm going to pull it toward me by about 1.5 feet. So I'm going to get it out toward me, and then I'll disconnect the power cord here in the back. Just wiggle it off. I'm also removing two screws here in the back on the top panel, because I want the top panel to be able to be loose, because I need the tub to be able to really lean heavily from side to side, and to do that I need the top panel loose. So I'm going to put in this electrical box here into the spring. I'm going to push the tub away from me to extend the spring and put this electrical box in to hold the spring in the extended position, and then I can pull the tub toward me, and I can pull the spring off of this little eyelet, and now I can remove this whole spring assembly by just tilting it and pulling it out. It's going to give me more room to work. I'm going to do that for the back spring here on the right side too. I'm going to pull the tub toward me so it bends toward me, put the spring, or put the electrical box over the spring in the extended position, and then I'm going to push the tub toward my right and toward the back to see if I can get the spring to come off. So I'm going to push it really heavily in that direction. Might be good to have someone help you do this too. While they push, you can try to disconnect it off the eyelet. I'm putting a little electrical box here too to lift the top up to take the pressure off of the tub so that the tub can move more. Just make it easier to move. So now I'm going to put an electrical box on the left back spring. I pull the tub toward me to the right and then extend the spring and then put the electrical box on. And then once the box is on, I can disconnect it from the eyelet below. So now all three springs are disconnected, and now I'm going to lean the machine back at an angle and put a couple of blocks of 2x4s underneath the big pulley in the middle. Now when I set the washer down, the whole transmission and tub assembly will lift up by about 3 to 4 inches. You can put a couple more blocks in there too to get it to go a little higher. But you're trying to get this area to open up, and then you can see the felt damper pads. There's 3 of them. These are the old ones, and we're going to try to scrape them off. I'm just using a paint scraper to start it off, and then I'm going to be pulling it. Be careful of the metal ring above where my left hand is. It's very sharp, and if your finger were to touch it and you were to move it quickly, it could cut your finger, cut your wrist. So just be really careful as you're pulling these felt pads off. You could use the paint scraper to kind of help you. So I'm pulling on the pad as I'm whacking it with the paint scraper to help break the contact cement from before. This is probably from at least 20 years ago when it was done at the factory. So there's the old damper pad. It's just a piece of felt. There's the new one. The kit comes with 3 damper pads and also 3 vials of lubricant. Now I'm doing the damper pad in the back on the right-hand side. Again, be really careful that that metal doesn't cut you. It might be good to wear gloves. These are really good machines. They last a long time. This one, Maytag, used to really make a great machine. Using the paint scraper to scrape off some of the glue that's still on there, the old glue. So we got the third one off. I'm using a wire brush to clean up that area the best I can. If I can get it down all the way to just raw metal again, that'd be great. I also used a little bit of Berryman's carburetor cleaner to try to help remove some of the adhesive, but you don't really need to. A wire brush is probably enough. So you just got to get it on the sides and in the back, all the way around. Again, be careful that you don't get cut. If you can't get all the glue off, it's okay, but just do the best you can. Really, your goal is to make sure all the felt's off. You do need a little tube of contact cement also. This is high temperature contact cement. You can get it at an appliance store or online. I'm going to put film of it on this first damper pad. I basically want to get it on all of one side of the damper pad, like completely cover it with the contact cement. And then once you have it all covered, you're going to go ahead and put that on to the metal, and you want to get it on there as evenly as you can. You want there to be a little gap at the top of about 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch there between the top of the damper pad and the top of the metal rim. You can kind of see in the video it's about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 an inch. Doesn't have to be exact. The next damper pad will go on about 1 inch to 1.25 inches away from the first one. It's going to be the same technique. Same with the third one, about 1 inch. You want to have them be as equal as possible to form a nice ring. They won't touch though. There will be a gap in between them of about 1 inch. But I'm just looking at it now to get the symmetry right. So this is the second pad, putting on the contact cement, and then I'll go ahead and place it in position. And if you don't have it exactly right, it's okay, because the contact cement will not bind right away, so you can still move it around a little bit. It's hard to do because you can't really see well. I did end up using my camera to help me when I did the third one. Once you get the pad about where you want it, then you want to push down with your fingers to apply pressure to get it to hold nice and tight. And then once you get everything done, all 3 pads glued in, it'd be great if you could wait about 15 minutes before you let the tub assembly rest down on it again. So I'm pushing down with my fingers to get that second one on there really tight. The damper pad with the lubricant just allows for a really good bearing surface, and then the tub can move around readily on that surface, and that helps it to spin really well. If it binds though, then the spin gets really crazy and it bangs around a lot. So here's the third pad. There is another procedure too where you can remove the pulley on the bottom and the brake assembly, and then pull the whole tub off to give you a lot of room, but it takes longer. So I kind of like to do this one, where you just put it on a couple of 2x4s to create about 4 inches of area where you can work. So I'm now just pressing down on all 3 of them to make sure they're securely in position. And then I'll have 3 vials of silicone grease, and I'll open a vial and put the entire vial on one pad, and then go to the second pad and then to the third pad. There's the big pulley underneath. So here's the vial. I took the top off. I'm squirting it on there, and then I'm going to use my fingers to work it in. It is possible also to just buy this kit and not replace the pads, but just put the lubricant on. And that usually will cure the problem, but this one was just so far gone that it was important to replace the pads. So do try to get all of the lubricant out of each one of the vials, and then apply that entire amount to the one pad, and then go to the next one. There we go. So that one's pretty much done. And we'll just repeat the same thing on the other 2. Again, being wary that you don't slice your finger on that rim up above where my finger is now. All right, we got them all 3 lubricated. So now we're going to take out the blocks and let the 15 minutes of glue time has elapsed. We're going to let the tub assembly come back down onto it. Still don't want to really use this for maybe 1 day to let that glue really set. So I'm going to reconnect the spring in the back onto the eyelet. If I lean the tub over to the back and left, that'll help me to get that on there. Again, if you have a second person to help, that'd be great. So now I'll do the one in the back on the right. I'm going to lift up on the eyelet and push in with my shoulder going back and to the right so I can get that eyelet on. It's good to keep the electrical boxes on the springs if possible while you do the first 2 for sure. It just makes the springs longer, so it makes it easier. Okay, you got those 2 done. So now we're putting on the front one again. Get the top part put on correctly, twist it around. And now I have to pull toward me. The back electrical box just popped off. To pull toward me to get this eyelet on. I'm going to pull with one hand and then try to feed it on with my right hand. Okay, got it. Now we're going to take the electrical boxes off of the 2 that are left. Get the front one off. Got the 2 back ones off. Great. So now we can just reassemble everything. We're going to get the 2 screws put in again in the back to hold on the top panel. Those tightened up. I'm going to reach down and grab that cable that hooks up to control the washing machine, and I'll wiggle that back on. Make sure it's on there really secure. Here we go. All right, I'm going to tighten the front screw that holds on the top panel on the right hand side. Put the bleach tube back on. I'm doing the one on the left hand side, same thing. Zip that one in. All right, I'm going to put the little screw that holds on the pressure sensor back into position. And now I have to push the whole thing back into the dryer assembly. And just take your time on this. It's kind of tricky. There's not a lot of room. You might have to push, wiggle, and just keep going at it until you get it all the way back in. Using my foot, pushing it, wiggling it. There we go. Now I have the front panel put in at 45 degrees to get the top clips to catch. And then I'll go ahead and let the front panel hinge down, and then I'll put in the 2 screws on the bottom to hold it on. And we are done. Again, I would wait about a day, let the glue really dry before I took it for a spin. Those screws lined up, put them back in, and we are done. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for watching our video. We really appreciate your support. And when you get a chance, please press the subscribe button below so you can be subscribed, and also the notification bell so we can send you more videos about appliance repair. Please also give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. If you really liked the video and it really helped you, please press this new applaud button and you can show your support and also get a nice clapping hands for your video. Thanks again.